Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tom Clark over at TFC IV MMA. We are back. We got a familiar face. As you guys recognize, we spoke with him a couple weeks ago, but he is coming off a huge knockout win. We got Matt, the Steamroller Frevola. Matt, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Just still riding high off that nice win and getting back to training.
There we go, man. I mean, what's this last week been like? When did you start training again? I assume there was a little bit of a victory parade. We're about 10 days post fight now. So, I mean, what have you been up to since the big win?
Yeah, last week I was back in the gym just moving my body and stretching and my left hand's a little messed up and my left wrists were a little swollen. But I'm slowly getting back to it. I'm hoping this week I'll be able to turn it up a little bit more and last week I ate all the food I could eat. I had my bacon, egg, and cheese. I had my Tommy tacos. I had my Sinelli's pizza, and it was a great week eating last week. But now I'm getting back to it. I realize that I feel a lot better when I eat good, and I'm getting back to training.
There we go. Yeah, that's one thing I do miss about living up north is those New York City bacon, egg, and cheeses cannot be matched.
Oh yeah, man, they're the best.
There we go. So obviously, you hold a win over Jalen Turner, who's higher ranked, but that was kind of years ago before you guys were both ranked. So rankings wise, this was the biggest win of your career, man. And just kind of walk us through the fight, man. How it was from your perspective, and just how everything played out.
Yeah, it was a great fight week. Very smooth weight cut. Me and my boy Billy Q crushed it, and my dad and my brother, um, and uh, and then that was the biggest I ever walked into the cage. Usually I was always walking in at 173, and then my last fight I walked in at 176, and then this fight I walked in at 180. And I still felt strong and fast, and like I didn't feel bloated or anything. So I think it was definitely the best weight cut and rehydration I've had. And then going into the fight, uh, I felt ready. I was ready to. I had all my weapons. I was prepared for a southpaw. I like fighting southpaws. Um, and I was ready to wrestle him too. My striking felt great on the feet. I was landing my shots. I was landing that Superman punch. My right body kicks were feeling good. I was landing those. He wasn't countering them or anything. Um, and eventually I was gonna wrestle him. The game plan was to take him down and use my jujitsu. Uh, but I busted his nose up in like the first minute, and I saw him busted up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stand the feet. And then he started having some good pressure. He started landing some body shots. He landed a couple left hands, um, and he was pushing the pressure on. But I was moving, and my movement was feeling real good, moving away from his power. Um, and then he threw a body shot, and I instinctually countered with a 3-2, and I caught him with a check hook, and then cleaned him up with that too, and he dropped, and I knew I had to get him out of there because Drew has always, recovered. He always comes back and recovers and like wins fights. So I dropped him, and I just went for that Dan Hendo like flying punch, but he dodged it, and then I just had to finish with some ground and pound, and we got the stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I thought of was the Dan Henderson. Because I mean, you dropped him, you kinda did a flex right after you dropped him and then followed him down there, and to even show what you were saying with how durable Drew is, I mean, you hit him with shots that woulda knocked anybody out, and somehow, like, he was out, but he wasn't fully out, which kinda shocked a lot of people, but yeah, man, it was phenomenal counterpunching, kinda at its best, and one part that really stuck out to me was in our first interview, I had asked you because I had spoken with Coach Longo earlier that week, and he had hinted at this being more of an MMA fight. And I had asked you about that, and you said, people said the same thing about my last fight. Is this dude such a power puncher? Am I going to use my wrestling? I didn't have to. Like, how nice is it where everyone keeps asking, when's he going to wrestle? But you haven't even had to. I mean, you just keep knocking these dudes out. I mean, I think in your last three fights, you don't even have 10 minutes of octagon time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always prepared for it. I know what got me here was my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu, but I know I'm well rounded. I love Muay Thai. I love boxing. Ray, taught me the sweet science, and now I'm falling in love with boxing as well. Um, and but I'm always prepared for it. I'm always prepared for wrestling and jiu-jitsu because I love it as well. So maybe the next one.
Yeah, there we go. Well, another thing Ray mentioned was that kind of how much you've grown within the last couple of years. I know no one ever likes taking losses, but you speak to a lot of the greats and they say I learn more from the losses as I do from the wins. And you have grown so exponentially since this Terrence McKinney fight. And Ray said, I believe it was on the Anik Florian podcast, that you like there were some demons there, but you've totally exercised them and you've come out a far better man. So it's not almost are you grateful for it, but I mean, is it nice to kind of be kicked down like that and come back up and be better than you ever have been before?
Yeah, 100%. And it's all part of my story. It's all molded me into the fighter I am today. And it's great. I have all the experiences really in the octagon. I've lost the worst way you could lose. I've won the best way you can win. And I know that I'm human and I can experience both of those. So it's I got the experience now, and I'm got the momentum, and the time is now. Like I've been saying, I'm in the prime of my life. I feel like my body and my mind are right in the right spot to make this title push. So I'm excited.
And after the fight, I mean, you went full Chael Son and you said, Paddy Pimblett, I think you suck. I want you. It seemed like he responded. Seems like he's open to the fight. I mean, what is it about this fight that draws you in? Because I remember even asking you before the Dover fight in a Twitter space if they offered you number 10 in the world or Paddy Pimblett, who would you choose? And you said, I want Paddy Pimblett. I want to fight this guy. So what is it about him? Is it just how brash he is, kind of how he handled the win against Gordon? What is it that you just don't like this guy?
I want the big fight, and that's the big fight. The rankings don't even matter. This is the big fight. He's got such a following. He's captured the UFC fan base, like, and he's exciting. I like watching him fight. I like watching his antics, and I think that I bring that same energy. And now I've got a following. I got some things up my sleeve, and I just think the whole promotion will be fun, and then the fight itself. I respect his skill, and he goes for it on the feet, and has got high level jujitsu. Um, and I think it makes sense. The time is now. He's on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. He has to fight somebody. Jared Gordon is no pushover, and technically he beat him. So now he needs to fight somebody, and nobody cares about him fighting anybody else now except me. If he accepts a fight against anybody else, he's ducking me and he's a bitch. So, and I hope that he's the fighter that I think he is, and he's going to want to prove everyone wrong. That's what I've been doing my whole career. I've been proving people wrong my entire career. Everyone said that Drew Dober was going to knock me out. Everyone said that Ottman was going to knock me out. Now everyone's saying to Paddy that I'm going to knock him out, and hopefully he wants to prove everyone wrong. And if once he signs the contract and we get this done, he'll have the opportunity to prove everyone wrong. And that's all I need is an opportunity. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round.
Dude, I agree. And that's where I love how you kind of address that in your post fight speech because, especially after that performance against Drew Dober, people look at your last three fights, Paddy's last fight, and they say, he's going to kill this guy. Paddy's going to avoid it. But I think you made a good point where you said, this guy's beaten 4 straight people. He technically got the win against Jared Gordon. They cannot protect this guy forever. So, I mean, I think he kind of has to fight in at some point. And luckily, it looked like on Instagram, he was open to the fight with you.
Yeah, I know that he's game. He was a Cage Warriors champ for a while, fighting top guys. He's got 20 something professional fights under his belt. He's a fighter. So I hope that he mans up and fights.
And then my next question is just going to be with your plan for this, because obviously there's no real set time frame. All we know is he had surgery. We don't know when he's going to be back. Is your plan to wait for Paddy, or would you be open if it's going to be another 8 months, would you take another fight before that?
We'll see what the opportunities come. I probably average 2 fights a year. I want to get back to training, get back to feeling good, and then I'll know when. But I always have MSG in November starred. That's always a fight I want. That's always a big fight that I want to be a part of. And I think that this, me and Paddy is a big fight for MSG, for the people in New York. So I hope that he's ready for that. And, it seems like he should have the right team around him to do the right PT, do the right physical training, and he should be ready by November. I had ankle surgery in January of 2017, and I fought in August. I know his situation might be different, but we'll see. I just hope he gets ready, and he knows when we want to do it, and hopefully it's end of the year.
Yeah, I think Madison Square Garden would be perfect. I mean, it's not official, but all the rumors are saying John Jones is going to be making his New York homecoming back to MSG for the final fight of his career. So I think you guys either feature belt or possibly even co-main event. I don't know, but I think that brings some huge eyes, gets some huge viewers. Speaking of MSG, I mean, the Prudential Center crowd was crazy. They weren't being as kind to your man Aljo as they were to you. I mean, compare this atmosphere you felt at the Prudential Center compared to how it was at MSG last year for you.
Man, both MSG and the Prudential Center we had rocking, like it was unreal. I think it was just the energy from Timmy Trumpets, Narco. The trumpets was just getting everyone going, and that just gives me the bullfighting vibes and like the showdown vibes, and the walkout from the steamroller chants, and then to the way I fight. The people are starting to recognize and know that I show up to fight, and I put it on the line and go for it. So I appreciate it, and but I would say the Prudential Center was packed. Like MSG, I fought on. I think I was like the fourth or fifth fight of the night. So it was still pretty full, but it wasn't. The Prudential Center was fucking packed. So it was nuts that we had that place going wild.
Well, that is one thing I like when the UFC goes back to places that they don't go all the time. I mean, I've been to events. I was at the John Jones fight back in March, and it blew my mind because even at the start of the main card, there was still a lot of empty seats. But then I went to one in Jacksonville last year, packed right from the start. So, I mean, I think that is one of the benefits to the UFC going to these places that they don't go every year. Whereas a card like MSG, there's going to be a lot of stars there. Ticket prices are really high. Those lower levels aren't going to be fully packed. But in those events like the Prudential, where the UFC is coming back, you got all the fans there from the first fight. I think it just makes the environment 10 times better.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's awesome now that the UFC is traveling again, like for fight nights and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And then I got two more things for you. One of them is I know you talked about briefly in media day. You've been kind of undefeated since you brought this new corner in there. It's Ray Longo, it's Billy Q, it's your brother. I mean, how nice is it just to have some of these people say they don't want family members, they don't want people close to them in their corner because it throws them off. But I mean, how much does it help you having your brother, having your best friend, and a guy like Ray Longo in there getting things going for you?
Man, it's really the perfect dynamic. Me and Billy Q have been doing this forever. We know how to, like, we've fought on so many cards together, done so many fight weeks together, cut weight together for so long. We know what we got to do, and then having Ray just to like bounce any eye, like just to tell us what he's thinking, and giving us the head nod, like saying everything sounds good, you're looking good, and whatnot, and then my brother is just always helping, always around, and helping, just behind the scenes, whatnot, and yeah, it's a great dynamic, and I never lost a fight with my brother. I've been fighting for him, growing up out here in Long Island, and now we're just doing it at the highest stage and fighting the best guys in the world. So it's awesome, man. We always have fun all fight week, and you know, I go out there and I fight.
There we go. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed on Instagram. I mean, you have your dad there, you got your brother, you got Marab, Aljo for this one. So it just looked like you guys were having an awesome time. And I think that kind of helps with the nerves in such a fight week, just having all the guys around you. Am I right there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, especially having, you know, I was like getting my hands wrapped when Aljo walked in wearing this ballin' suit, this like custom made awesome suit. And I'm like, I was just talking to House, who was wrapping my hands. I was like, yeah, I was looking good before. I show him a picture of my denim on denim,
The
uh,
old Canadian tuxedo.
the old Canadian tuxedo. And then Aljo walks in, and we both look at him. I'm like, I didn't look that good though.
Dude, he's always styling. I remember I was there at the second Jan fight, and he had that pink suit on that night, and
Yeah, yeah.
he's always got some styling. But I love that when they showed the video with your knockout in the locker room. You had Aljo, Marab, Sarah, all the guys cheering for you. So I love the camaraderie you guys got there. And that's actually leading into my last two questions. Is there was some huge fights announced today. There's two I want to get your opinion on. The first one would be Aljo versus Sugar Sean. I mean, Aljo had said for this last week, it ain't going to be in Boston unless they throw me a bag. So I'm assuming they threw him a bag because it just got announced today, August 19th in Boston. I mean, how do you see this fight going for your teammate? I mean, I see this as his easiest stylistic matchup. But how about you?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, Aljo he's the best in the world. He's a bantamweight goat, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to watch him on the feet, and then just watch the grappling once the Aljo or an O'Malley initiates the grappling. I see the human anaconda, the human backpack, just doing what he does best. Um, but I think Aljo could surprise a lot of people with the striking too. Um, but you know how he fights. He knows where he's the like highest fight IQ you could have. He knows what he's good at. He knows, you know, his path to victory, and he's gonna take it, and he's gonna do what he's the best of the world at doing, and strangling this guy.
Yeah, I think he surprised a lot of people with the striking. A lot of people thought it was going to be his grappling versus Cejudo's counter grappling and striking, but I mean, Aljo controlled the fight on the feet, so he definitely proved a lot of people wrong there. And then the last fight I wanted to get your opinion on, one in your division, two of the guys at the top. It just got announced. We got a 5-round main event for the BMF belt. Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier. How do you see this one played out, man? This is like going to be like one of your fights, guaranteed action the whole time. It's a rematch, of course, but the last fight, both guys have grown a lot since. Who do you see getting their hand raised in this one?
Yeah, that's a fight, and to watch it again, first fight was crazy, and it's a coin flip. You know, I think, but that fight will always be a coin flip. Um, and for the BMF too, huh? They're pulling out the BMF again.
Yep.
I think that's a future title that I need to fight for.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
That'll be good.
yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Gagey, and then that'll tie it up, right?
Yeah, yeah, that'll be 1-1. Maybe we get a trilogy down the line. But yeah, Dana announced this BMF fight with Jorge retired, so it's open. So it seems like he had always said that was a one and done, but now it seems that this may be every time the holder retires, it may be open again. So maybe in a couple years. I know Justin has said once his title runs over, he's done. And Dustin's getting older too. He got the bag from the Connor fight. So either of these guys may be walking away. So there's a definite possibility that fight happens with you in the future.
Yeah, I think I'll get that belt eventually.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Matt. It's been awesome talking with you. I was so happy to see you get the win, man. I was freaking out. I was really rooting for you, Sarah Longo, guys. So it was awesome to see it, and I can't wait to see you put Paddy out. Kind of bring the Scouser down a notch.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate the support, and you know, we all need to be humbled at times.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Have a great rest of your night, Matt.
Thanks, bro. You too.